guys, Marty Schwartz here with Marty Music, hanging out in Nashville, Tennessee with Slim Gambill, an awesome dude, awesome guitar player from Lady A, but also his own kind of funky, jazzy, jammy kind of grooves.
Yeah, man.
All right.
That describes it.
Yeah. It's so nice to have you here.
Hey, man. Awesome to be here. Thanks for having me, man. I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
I'm a fan of you.
When I'm too lazy to learn something on my own, I go straight to your channel.
That's the gig. So, did your parents name you Slim?
No, my actual name's Jason.
Just kidding.
Although, well, I mean, it's funny you ask that though, because like everyone calls me Slim. Like every so often, my mom calls me Slim, and that's weird. But my wife generally still calls me Jason when she calls me anything. But I've had the nickname, I mean, since like the early 2000s. Actually, the guy that I played in the band with on Atlantic, like Joe Firstman's the guy that gave me the nickname. And
it's cool to have a nickname.
Especially one that's well, man,
given
it's
to
memorable. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I didn't.
You don't want to be like, call me Slim.
Right. What was that? Who was the comedian that was talking about Sting? Where it's like, what do you suppose that was like? He says, please, call me Sting.
Right.
It's like, whatever you say, Gordon.
Or Prince.
One wonders where these names actually came from. The golden age of session musicians to me was the 70s and 80s in LA, man. Like, all respect to every other session player ever. Like those cats, man. Like the Larry Carltons and the Lukes and the Dean Parks and I mean, when David Foster was a session guy and like, you know, Percar, like all those guys, man. I feel like those records just had so many ridiculously good parts that they somehow interlocked them. Where it's like it's busy stuff. Like every part is like there's a lot going on there. But somehow they made it all work together and not get in the way of anything. We did this thing on Sunday nights, this club in Beverly Hills. It was like just this jazzy jam thing. It was kind of this, it was the club to go to in Hollywood on Sunday night.
Yeah. With Lady A, you mean?
No. I was in the house band.
Oh yeah, because you told me you lived in LA.
Yeah.
So that's what you were doing?
For a long time. That's what I was doing like shortly before I moved here. You know, went to college for 5.5 years, and then I went to grad school for a minute, and then the band I was playing with, we got signed. And that didn't really go anywhere. But then I kind of just jumped around from band to band and did the Hollywood thing for a bit. Worked for a living.
How does that lead to Lady A?
So that basically it's kind of a weird tangled story, but long story
Usually
short,
is.
yeah, it typically is. But a guy that got us our band, he got us our showcase with Warner Brothers Records and a couple others. He ended up going to Hollywood Records, signed an artist named Josh Kelly. We stayed in touch. I ended up recording Josh's second record with him, going on tour with him. Josh Kelly's younger brother came out to LA to hang out with us and started coming out on the road with us just to party, and he'd get up and sing a song every night. This is Charles Kelly, right?
Right.
Right out of college. So we got to be buddies, started writing songs together, and then I was kind of back and forth between LA and Nashville. Charles had moved to Nashville at that point, and it's like one day I was on the phone with him and he's like, man, we got this trio together. We're writing songs and like we're showcasing and we have label interest, which, you know, that's I've heard that before, right? I was at a place in LA where I was just kind of sick of it and wasn't really doing anything constructive. And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll drive to Nashville.
How many years ago was that?
That was in 2007.
Okay.
Yeah, so, like I drove into town and went straight to the Tin Roof South to Hillary Scott's, I think her 21st birthday party. Wow. And then it's funny how this transition took place, because on July 1st, 2007, which was my 30th birthday, I was in the studio cutting Lady A's first album. it didn't immediately snowball. It was kind of a grind until
Right.
stuff started to pop. But when it popped, you know, it popped.
Really, yeah.
For all of us, it's like you do something and you kind of, you know, cast your lot and you hope it works out. But it's like a lot of circumstances have to all come together at the same time. In my case, it's like people say, how do you end up being a successful sideman
Right.
for this many years in a row? And I'm like, well, you have to happen to start playing with a baby band and get paid $200 a show.
Right.
And grind it out, opening for the Oak Ridge Boys in Ohio.
And maybe
then-
that bass
and
player.
They happened, well, no, in this case, it's like they happened to blow up.
Yeah.
It could have just as easily gone south. So it's like, I didn't like audition for this band that was doing great. It's like, no, I happened to be playing with them at ground level and then they went somewhere. Most
Right.
bands you start playing with at ground level, they don't do that. So it's like, it's equal parts the friends that you hang out with and like the people you make music with and just dumb luck, like when it all actually works out.
So luck is definitely part of it, but I think I can definitely relate to some of the things you were saying where you have to be out there. You have to be putting yourself out there.
It's about the, I mean, it's such a lame term, networking, like, but
Yeah.
it's that. And I don't even know how stuff is structured, like as far as like sidemen are concerned and backing musicians. Like I know it's kind of this, it's in this weird place because there's so many tracks getting used and there's, you know, people are like, oh, the bass is on tracks, but then we just have like these other two guys.
Oh,
And
you're
it's
talking
like,
about live?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for like the live situation. I'm not sure what everyone's like gunning for. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's like it was when I started doing this, it was really obvious. It's like, I wasn't shooting to be a backing musician. It just ended up that way. But I knew that my players was like, I play guitar. I played these people's songs.
Do
Cool.
you sing at
Now
all
it's-
in Lady A?
No, I mean, I
mean, they're so good.
yeah, I mean they are a vocal group, so I've never really had to except for the odd gang vocal and I'm not a
Like,
singer. I
"Hey,
grab
yeah."
some harmonies here and there, but I'd rather not.
And then
so
they're
I came to the
like,
right place.
I don't want any Slim in my.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And it's like, and again, I happened to start playing with a vocal group, so it's
Yeah.
like, especially early on, like they didn't want anyone else singing because it's like it wanted to come. It's like, okay, that's the vocal group. It didn't, because it's so easy to like see, oh, it's a vocal group, but like, oh, I see all those people in the background are singing. Like,
Right.
what voices are we actually hearing?
Right.
In their case, it's like, no, it's very obviously it's the three of them.
Yeah, yeah.
And like you said, they're
What was the biggest
so,
show you guys ever played?
Oh man, biggest as far as how many people were there?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Probably we opened for Springsteen at Hyde Park in London. However, that show will also go down in history as both the biggest crowd and the most hostile crowd that we've ever played in front of. Man, they could, and I play in a Springsteen tribute band, man. Like I'm a diehard Springsteen fan. Okay, they did not care.
Yeah.
There was at one point one of our front people, Dave. He said that we were playing "Need You Now," which was
Right,
a massive
big, huge hit.
and he made eye contact with some girl who literally looked at him and went. And we're because it's like they're Bruce fans.
Right,
That's all they
right.
cared about. Like John Fogerty was on the bill. They didn't care about John
yeah.
Fogerty, man. Like that was not Lady A's crowd. That was Bruce's crowd.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but I mean, there were like 80,000 people there. So I mean, it was like looking out. It's like this is amazing, and you just feel that like they're kind of like, come on, just get
Get it over with.
Get over with.
Tell me about one of your biggest shows that was awesome then.
The Hollywood Bowl was pretty awesome. We've done a handful.
That's one of the greatest milestones I think you could ever do.
100%.
Were you on SNL?
We did SNL.
I mean, that's
SNL
one of
was
those
amazing.
two.
Yeah.
Hollywood Bowl, SNL. I mean, Red Rocks. I'm sure you've done.
Man, Red Rocks was like the quickest in and out that we've ever done. But yeah, we did Red Rocks. We did Red Rocks. It was this like film festival thing, but they were airing the pilot of Yellowstone and had a couple. And this is before Yellowstone was Yellowstone.
Right.
It wasn't even out yet.
Right.
They played the pilot of Yellowstone, and then we played our set. So it was an odd situation to say the least.
Understood,
But
yeah.
it was Red Rocks, and growing up in Colorado, it's like Red Rocks is. I mean, that's kind of like the pinnacle.
Pinnacle,
So
yeah.
that's cool. We played a show at the Gorge, like
Amazing.
oh, unbelievable. We had a few years there where we're just playing all these just killer, awesome big venues.
have your own album, right?
I have several. Yeah, I started doing the earliest stuff that I remember recording like in high school was like instrumental, like kind of funky, jazzy sort of stuff.
Soul Live? Do you like them?
Love Soul Live. Yeah, I mean killer band. Like, I was listening to a lot of like horn players, John Coltrane and Eddie Harris, Joe Henderson.
Do you know Gray Boy All Stars?
Yeah, absolutely, man. The reason I know about them in the first place is I had a guitar student when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And he showed up with a cassette and someone had given it to him and he was just wearing it out.
Yeah.
And he says, "Can we figure out how to play some of this stuff?"
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. And I put it on and I'm just like, and the guitar playing was just killer tasty. I'm just like, yeah, what is this? He's like, I don't know. And it's a cassette and there's no way to find out.
Right.
There's no Shazam, like there's none of that stuff. And so I'm like, and years went by, okay? And I'd gotten into it. I of course made myself a copy of his cassette and I'm like wearing it out. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm listening to. Years went by and then I heard that music. And there had been like a huge gap and I was hearing it somewhere and I was like, that sounds really familiar to me. And then it dawned on me, I'm like, wait a second, that's that freaking record.
Yeah.
Like, I was teaching this dude when I was 17.
Yeah.
And it was the Gray Boy All Stars.
It's cool that you play in basically I guess it's a country pop act.
Yeah, that would be the best way to describe it for sure.
But then, digging like that soul jazz kind of stuff. Let's call it soul jazz.
Oh man,
let's not call it smooth jazz. Let's call it soul jazz.
I only call it smooth jazz because that was the name of the Billboard chart that I was #1 on for 4 weeks, baby.
Woo!
Yeah. I started like making my own records, I guess like 5-6 years ago, just because it was like an outlet. Because as a country music sideman, like it's great, but or as any kind of sideman, it's like you're playing other people's music.
Yeah.
And it has a creative element to it, but at the end of the day, you're there to serve someone else's music, and that's
right.
And that's great and it's exciting.
And you
It's part
wanted
of
to
being
make
fun.
sure as few people as possible listen to your own music by doing.
Oh, absolutely,
by
yeah.
being
I wouldn't
smooth
want
jazz.
anyone to actually hear it. Yeah, that's
You were like,
that's a
okay,
fact. It
so
is,
Lady A, millions and billions of streams. Okay, I've done that.
yeah, I've been there, done that.
Been
man.
there,
I'm sick of Grammys,
the
man.
Enormo Dome.
I'm sick of the Grammys.
It's
too
it's
complicated.
such a hassle.
But yeah, man, it's like it's a cool world because like I made these couple albums and it was a thing of like, well, what am I doing with this? Like, what? It was no format. The record was just all over the map, instrumental, but it wasn't like Steve Vai super shreddy,
Right.
Or Guthrie Govan or something like that. It's not. I don't have those kind of chops. So it was just a thing of like, it's like melodic.
You can't play like Guthrie Govan?
Boy, can I ever not? if there's one person I know I can't play like, it would be that guy. I mean, that's the good thing about modern country music is like you don't have to be Brent Mason, thankfully.
Yeah, for sure.
If I was getting stuff thrown at me on a daily basis, like, yeah, just learn this Brent Mason solo, I'd be like, oh God.
Is there anything cool about that guitar?
Oh, there's a lot of things cool about this guitar.
Tell me about that guitar.
It's a.
First of all, I love is that a custom paint job?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I got this whole thing is like built from the ground up by Sir.
Yep, I got one.
Yeah, sweet, man. I never thought I would be like a boutique guy, but then like I had a buddy that was working at this company and he like brought me one of their Strats to try out and I was just like, I mean, it plays so
They're
great.
awesome.
And I mean, they're really incredibly well made. And so I got this one built. I liked the offset body style and I always wanted a guitar that was painted like Steve McQueen's Porsche 917 from Le Mans.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's what that is. It's
Great.
like it's the actual colors, zenith blue and tangerine and navy. Yeah. I was really rolling the dice on this paint job because I was kind of like, this is going to go one of two ways, but like it's awesome and everyone loves it.
And I love that too.
I always loved also like the 70s, like the Fender bass, like the big block inlays. So I was just like, I want a maple neck with giant block inlays. I always bring this and like a Strat with like my Strats all have a telly pickup in the bridge and then the rest is Strat. But I use on a few of my tunes, I use like the Mike Landau, Paul Jackson Jr. like position 4 or like the Vince Gill, like the out of phase Strat thing.
Yeah.
And I wanted like this guitar to do that. So I'm getting a pick guard that they're making me that's gonna have a middle pickup and like a toggle switch that shifts what this switch does. The middle pickup I'll never use it all by itself. Mm-hmm. But like I can switch so I can have the position 4 and position 2 sound, but then I've got the humbuckers. So It's going to be pretty sweet. So this is another Sir. So yeah, this is... So this is just like, it's got Strat stuff, but then like this is a telly pickup. So it's like not the I speak to the forehead Strat thing. It's the I speak to the forehead Telly thing instead.
Right.
Me in Telly land is typically more like. More of like the dirty Telly vibe.
Love
so I went for the Telly pickup in that, and it's but yeah, this one it's Olympic white, but then this is called Guardsman blue. This is the Shelby Cobra color.
Yeah. Got it. Did Sarah put that on for you?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, so this was like, and saying that they made the neck for me, with the blocks.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah, and I got another one at home that I just got recently. That's like I got it painted like a 1969 Oldsmobile 442, and it's like this crazy sparkly gold metal flake thing with like the sort of like the hood racing stripe that's got these angles on it and stuff, and then it's got an ebony fingerboard with matching gold block inlays.
Wow.
Yeah, so that took some doing, I think.
Slim Gambill. What was the first riff you ever learned on guitar? Do you remember?
First thing I ever learned, my mom still has to hear this to this day because I was a kid, and like this is the first thing I learned. First thing I ever learned. First actual tunes I ever learned. I can't remember the order of them, but I'm not making this up. One of them was, in fact, this. So the thing that's like the joke, no stairway, I literally, that's one of the first.
But that wasn't Stairway, that was just a tribute.
Yeah, that was just exactly. Yep. And then
yeah.
So Purple Haze, and then I don't even know if I remember and then
Oh yeah.
Wind Cries Mary. Yeah, I learned all three of those like within. I can't remember. I think Stairway might have been the first actual song.
Were you playing guitar when Nirvana came out?
Yeah, I remember. I remember the day.
Okay.
That's one of those musical events that I'm kind of like. I remember it happening.
That's kind of like our Ed Sullivan Beatles, or
yeah.
I mean, it's not the same as that, but that our generation.
As I'm a gigantic Beatles fan.
Me too.
So it's hard to say. There's not another Beatles. But in terms of like watershed moments in
cultural
music history,
impact,
I feel like Smells Like Teen Spirit showing up on MTV might be pretty close to that.
It's pretty big.
Because like everything changed dramatically. And I remember being on the school bus on the way home in junior high school, and like everyone's talking about this band Nirvana. I'm like, what's Nirvana? And I walk in, turn on Hard 30 on MTV, and it's this tune, Smells Like Teen Spirit. And I just remember going like, what is this? Because everything was like hair metal at the time, which I was super into. But Nirvana came along and then at that point, then the 90s became all about like being sad and dark and making scary records.
Yeah, we're gonna cash in on this and double down.
Like
and
the Seattle thing, happened, and a lot of great music came out of that. But I do remember just all the music was kind of like sad after that.
We were jamming your new single that's coming out.
Yes, sir.
Real soon, called Turn the Corner.
Turn the Corner, baby.
And thanks for teaching it to me real quick. It was fun.
Thanks for jumping in, man.
Yeah, man. I had a great time.
They asked me if I had a track. I'm like, it wasn't even done yet when they asked me that.
Well, just check the links below. We've got links for all your stuff down there.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, new single drops on May 6th. Goes to radio May 13th. Coming off the 4-week #1, Light This Candle. Here's to hoping, baby.
Yeah, man. This was fun. I had a great time with you.
Likewise, man.
And also, there was a lot of grinding to get to 2024, where you and I get to just sit and play guitar for a living. It's not like you just choose to play guitar for a living and it happens, right?
Not even close.
As of today, I'm so grateful that my job today was to wake up, meet a new cool guy that rips on guitar, and talk about the stuff we love.
Yeah, man. Heard that.
So thank you again. And also, you guys check out Slim Gambill's stuff, Lady A, of course, all of that. Check the links below. And thank you, Slim Gambill.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.